Hello, this is Igniting Change, United Way Unfiltered. We are a new podcast for United Way of Southeastern Idaho. My name is Ginny Hoyle. I do communication and outreach. And with me today is Wendi Ames.
Hi, I'm Wendi Ames. I'm the Director of Donor and Community Engagement for United Way of Southeastern Idaho, and I'm so excited that we have a podcast.
Yeah, apparently we have a podcast now.
We do.
It's here. This is it. You're in it.
And you're hosting it.
I'm hosting it, apparently. How does it feel to be the very first guest?
The very first guest on the United Way podcast.
Yes.
I feel like we're entering a new era. Like the United Way of the past is gone. This is so fresh.
Amazing.
Yeah, so fresh.
See, I was going to say I feel like we're in your office and I'm just giving you grief.
I mean, that does happen quite often.
Okay, so what the heck is this podcast going to be about, right? We're United Way. We're going to talk about real things that are going on in Southeastern Idaho and the problems that face our community. And then we're going to talk about what we're doing to help and then how people right here in this community can help us and how we can all work together, right?
Yeah,
Is
no,
that the
absolutely.
idea?
I think that's it because I just got goosebumps and that's a sign,
Amazing.
right? That's a sign.
I love your goosebumps.
When we talk about United Way and we talk about this podcast and how our community can really connect with the things that United Way does and with our partners and with how we bring our community together to really be part of the solution for families that are working really hard but not quite making it month to month.
Totally. Okay, so you mentioned that group that we serve, right? Tell us more about what United Way is and why we do it. What do we do and why do we do it?
Wow, that's a huge question, by the way.
I know.
And so
I knew that and I'm really glad you're the one who has to answer it. Good luck.
That may take this whole podcast time to answer that question, but I'll try and sum it up really. So really what United Way does is we take families, like I said, they're working hard and just not making it month to month. When there's one expense that comes up and it's unexpected, whether it's medical bills, whether it's you need new tires on your car, whatever that is, that can really send almost half of our community members into a spiral where they're unable to secure their housing and to make sure that they're at good jobs and that they're healthy. And so when we put United Way's partnerships and we take the things that we do to bring the community together and to raise money for small nonprofits and nonprofits across our region, we're really helping to support those families. But the 9 of us can't do it alone, you know? And totally. So when I think about what United Way does, it's really about uniting partnerships. It's really about bringing in the community and having the community really understand what United Way does to build up nonprofits that supports families in our region that really wouldn't have this support if we weren't doing what we do every day. And so I'm just so proud of United Way and the things that you and I do every single day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Me too. You know, and I think the thing that comes to mind when you talk about this, and I think that was a perfect recap, by the way, crushing it.
I don't know.
The thing I think about is these are people we know.
Right.
Right? Someone who is employed, who's working hard, putting many hours, sometimes more than, 40 hours a week just to make the ends meet and then struggling. Right. So these are people we know, right? These are our friends and neighbors?
No, absolutely. And so I think when we think about, the almost 50% or the 2 in 5, next time you're in a meeting, next time you're at the grocery store and you're at the checkout line, and just realizing that there are so many people struggling in our community, and really United Way makes it so easy to be part of the solution and to make donations and to volunteer and to advocate for these families. That's really what United Way is about and how we're making a difference in our community.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So great.
So talk to me about, talk to us.
Talk to us.
It's more than me.
All of us here.
Everybody. So many viewers. Okay, so talk to us about United Way's team. What is the vibe?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Our team.
And you've been with United Way how long?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years. That's what I go with.
All right. And I've been there for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going into my third.
Yeah. So when I started in United Way back in 2017, which honestly doesn't feel like that long ago.
I mean, time is funny now.
We had 3 staff members. Four. We had 3 staff members and also our CEO at the time. And it was really difficult to do all of the things all the time with just the 3 or 4 of us, and we were starting to look at long-term solutions versus just helping fund safety net programs. And so it was just kind of the beginning of this 2-pronged approach that United Way has really come up with. It was a time where we knew that people in Southeastern Idaho weren't making ends meet, that wages were low, and how in the world were we going to be able to keep our kids here in Southeastern Idaho? How are we going to retain talent for our businesses? And really, we knew that if there was any way possible, it would be because any secondary degree, whether that's a 2-year, a 4-year, an associate program, a certificate, any type of secondary anything was going to help our community members make more money, right?
Yeah.
But where does that begin? That begins when kids are little. And so I think when we talk about our education programs and where that's really built from in the last 5 years has been amazing. And bringing Tennille on. Tennille is our director of education, and she's freaking fantastic.
She's awesome.
She's so fantastic. And really her passion for education and making sure that kids have a chance and that kids love learning and they're set up right to really be able to have an amazing educational career. And that starts when they're young. And so I think that, the preschool scholarships and the Read, Talk, Play initiatives and those type of things are really like uplifting right now our whole community. Totally. I was talking to Tennille today, and Read, Talk, Play bags are going to Snake River and out into Bancroft.
Yes.
And they're in American Falls and they're in Pocatello. And so really just creating this whole region, uplifting that educational aspect, that pillar has just been, I think, the most growth that I've seen to kind of bring that back in,
Awesome.
In the last 5 years.
Well, let's think about, you mentioned education. So United Way, what are our focus areas, right? We have education. We have health, and we have financial stability.
Right.
And I want to make sure we cover Read, Talk, Play. Yeah. So Read, Talk, Play is an early learning initiative.
Right.
That we helped lead a collaborative, early learning collaborative in American Falls.
Yeah.
And the idea behind it, right, is, correct me if I'm wrong, the idea behind it is...
I wish Tennille was here to tell us all things, but yes. All yes.
That she will be on here eventually.
Yeah.
But Read, Talk, Play is a chance for parents to be more involved in those early critical years for education and formation of your brain and development in those early years. So the idea is you read, you talk, you play every day.
Right.
And it sounds simple, but it's actually quite profound. And that's just one of the many initiatives that we do in the education sector or the education pillar that we focus on.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's been so important, in the last little bit. And to see that grow and change has been huge for our United Way. And then I think we also brought in Amy, who's our director of health, and she's fantastic. Her passion for health and homelessness in our community is just unmatched.
She's brilliant.
I think that's where we look at our team, right? We look at Amy and Tennille and Molly working on financial stability, and Shantae, our CEO, Shantae Bloxham, brings in just this like overall vision. And I think that's where it's at, right? The ISU grad school came and visited us not too long ago, and they were talking about shared responsibility, and they chose our United Way to come and talk about that pillar of their organization. And when I sit back and I think of that, that's where our passion or vision comes from, right? It's that vision for Southeastern Idaho. It's that vision for our community members, and how can we bring more people into that vision and create a more stable region. And I think between everything we've been through in the last 5 years, the team that's been built, we are on the right track, and the partnerships that we have and the community support, it is only getting better and better. And we're able to help more and more organizations through our community investment process, through our education initiatives. I mean, I don't want to mention Ride United yet, but because there's so much we could go into that, you know.
Well, and you just did.
I know.
So we're going to talk about
We're going to talk about it. I know. What did we do? So Ride United is an initiative Amy did, right?
Yes.
Yes. So actually, I'm going to interview you now.
Oh, good.
Tell me
we're
about,
switching.
yes,
okay,
tell
good.
me about Ride United.
Okay, so Ride United is an initiative through our health pillar, and essentially it's the discovery through research that transportation is the biggest barrier to people in our community right here in Southeastern Idaho accessing healthcare.
Yeah.
So transportation is the biggest barrier, and so Amy, our director of health, and the team behind it, we came up with the solution of providing free rides that are health related to community members in need. And we partner with mental health and the free clinic and a few others to provide those rides.
Yeah, and I think that I never realized that transportation was such a barrier.
I didn't either.
And I kind of feel like I took for granted getting in my car every morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you need to get to, let's say, a doctor's appointment at the Pocatello Free Clinic, wonderful partner of ours, if you don't have a ride there, you're not going to go. You can't go.
Right.
Right?
Like if somebody else has a car or you don't have a car or your car's broke down, like how do you do that? And I think there were so many times that there's things that come up when we're talking about United Way and we're talking about the initiatives and the long-term sustainability programs that we have that I'm like, that's an issue, you know? And I think it's our job with being the director of donor engagement and community engagement and communications that we tell our community about it. And we have them an opportunity to be involved and to help support those initiatives and really to help community members in such a tangible way. And I think that's a lot of the, it's really just a lot of the, I forget what I'm saying because there's so many things going on in my mind, you know, because I'm so proud of the work that our team is doing. And it gives our community the opportunity to really be part of the solution and be part of making sure people have great health, that kids are getting the education that they need, and that we're helping to sustain over 26 local programs through our community investment process and our workplace campaigns. There's just so much that I think it's hard to wrap it all into one.
Wendy, we have so much to talk about.
I know.
How on earth are we going to do this one podcast? I don't think we can.
No, I think we're going to need many podcasts.
Many. Okay, so maybe let's take a break on all of the cool initiatives that we're involved in and that we partner across the community with. And let's talk about events.
Oh my gosh.
What events are your favorite? We do a lot.
We do.
So tell me, and Wendy is our magical maneuverer. She does all the things. She brings the magic.
Yes.
And then, so tell me about your favorite events at United Way each year.
Oh my gosh. So I have probably 3 that I love more than anything. The first has to do with our fundraising campaign. So our campaign kickoff usually kicks off in September, and it is a time where we get all of our workplace campaign donors. We get together with our nonprofit agencies and we really just kick off the community giving campaign with pancake breakfast at the Old Town Pavilion is where it's been in the past. And it's just such a fantastic opportunity to bring people together in Southeastern Idaho for a common goal of just raising money. And it just gives me goosebumps because it's a time where we all have one singular focus, and that's to make a difference for families in our community that are working really hard. And that's something that I've always been really passionate about.
Amazing. So that's the kickoff.
Yeah. So that's the kickoff.
For the coming year.
Yep. And then in October, so we haven't even talked about this yet, but we have an affinity group, which is just a group that's part of United Way that's called Women United. That was started 3 years ago. And so our 3rd year, our main fundraiser, and as United Way, we don't really do our own fundraisers, right? We help companies, we help organizations with fundraisers, but this is ours. And what I love about it is it's a murder mystery dinner.
Amazing.
And you dress up, and it's fancy, and it's always the Thursday before Halloween. And this year we're doing a pirate theme. And we have a Women United steering committee that really helps us kind of put it all together. And it's really earmarked and focused on all the money that's raised is going towards women and families that are moving out of crisis situations and into stability. Mm-hmm. And that is just such a need right now when we look at single female-led households and how they're struggling to really just make ends meet. And so by being part of this fundraiser, not only are you having a fantastic time, you get to dress up, you get to win an amazing prizes and raffles and different things, but you're really helping make a difference for families and women in our community. And that's just like, it's amazing. It's so cool.
It's awesome. And, what comes to mind for me, too, is the fact that the first year that it was done, that we did it, it sold out.
The first year.
What sells out in Pocatello? Not a lot.
Maybe the parties that we throw.
That you coordinate.
That we throw.
Magic director.
So magic director parties, right? We have great food.
Yeah.
We have amazing music.
Yeah.
And we have a meaning and a purpose and content, right? Yeah. And amazing partners. And so you get the right people in the room with the right music and great food and a purpose.
So fun.
And it just elevates our whole community, and it's a night that people want to be part of. And so we're really excited about that.
And there's a bonus, too, because if you already have your outfit for the Murder Mystery Dinner this year, Pirates, you don't have to do a Halloween costume. You already got it.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
All right, event number 3.
Event number 3 is our awards lunch. And that always happens in the spring. And so that's when we really celebrate our community giving campaign and the companies and the organizations and the volunteers that really come together to support our community investment strategies that Molly puts together for us. Molly's our COO. I don't know if we've mentioned her, but she has done a fantastic job really cultivating volunteers to help us really give meaning behind the dollars and really show our community how the dollars are used in Southeastern Idaho. And that's a whole other podcast. I think we could go an hour or two on that.
That's true.
And really bring in some amazing partners. And so I'm so excited because with these events, there's so many people that we could bring in and talk about the meaning behind what we do. Because we have a lot of fun, right? And we're all over, and we do all of the things. But really, when it comes down to it, it's that vision of making sure that our community is stable and that our community members that we see every day at the grocery store, that we see at church, that we see, at the park with their kids. It's everyone that we want to have a stable and, just a caring family and life here in Southeastern Idaho. And that's what our vision is, I think.
Definitely. And, I can't go on without saying we had a really cool new event this year. Day of Action.
Oh, my gosh.
Tell us what Day of Action is.
Yes. So I think when we talk about our Day of Action, we're talking about volunteerism, right? And so I think back to, 2017, we had 3 volunteers in our Rolodex.
Okay.
And so I'm like, what in the world? How do we get more people involved? And I think that right now, when we're talking about volunteers, our Day of Action is a global day of volunteering that United Way Worldwide puts on. And this was our first year we're able to be part of that. And we had 150 volunteers. So we went from 3 volunteers in 2017 to 150 on one single day.
Yes.
So that doesn't include all of the volunteers that we have now currently with United Way, right? And so I think that shows the projections of how people want to be involved.
Yes.
And they want to be part of the solution, And so we had 13 locations, 150 volunteers. Everyone got shirts. McDonald's had amazing coffee for us in the morning. We had donuts from Amazing Glaze, and it's just a great opportunity for people to get their hands dirty.
It makes it easy for someone to just volunteer, right? So you show them where to show up. They get to pick the location, the nonprofit they're going to serve, and then they get to volunteer for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a cool idea. I'm so glad. Are we going to keep doing this?
I think so.
Okay, awesome.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
Awesome.
I think we can't not,
Yeah.
Once we start something, it just gets better and better every year.
Right. That's right. Okay, so speaking of volunteering and getting involved, how would you suggest that somebody gets involved with the United Way? How would they even go about this?
Call me.
Call
you.
Okay.
Call any of us.
Yeah, it's true.
No, but really, our website, go to our website. You can look us up on Facebook or Instagram. LinkedIn is another place that you can connect with us. Obviously, we have a new podcast now. And so really just reaching out to us, and we can build volunteer opportunities around what our community members are passionate about. So whether it's housing, whether it's education, whether it's helping seniors, that is something that we can facilitate through our database, through our connections to really help community members get involved in the community. It's such a neat program.
Awesome. So it is true that anybody could call us at any time.
Right.
And that we will help.
Yeah.
Right? We'll help figure out whatever it is that they're interested in or that they need. And so people can go to the website, unitedwaysei.org.
Right.
And we'll put that in the show notes too.
Okay.
We have show notes. We're fancy.
Is that official?
Yes.
Official show notes?
Girl, yes. Yes.
We're so fancy.
So we'll put it in the show notes. There's a place where people can sign up to get on a list of volunteers for the future, right? So we'll make sure that that's in the show notes as well.
And they'll be able to put a list of like skills. They'll be able to put what, they're passionate about. And then when those opportunities come up at United Way, we can reach out and say, hey, we have this opportunity. Would you like to volunteer with us?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you to Wendi for this amazing host. I'm like honored to have you on for the first guest.
Oh, stop.
I get to host like the amazing Wendi, and first of all, everybody knows Wendi. There's not a single person in town who Wendi doesn't know, and it's just you watch her be the professional that she is, and it's inspiring. And she's full of grace. She's full of knowledge. She's full of expertise. She's full of strategy. She sees big picture in a way that I think is just truly admirable. And we're so lucky to have Wendi on the team. I'm serious.
I'm
so serious. And she's going to get shy on me, but like she's also just like such a good human. Oh. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginny. And thank you for all of that. I'm learning to take compliments. It's really hard for me.
You did great.
But my face is probably red. If you're listening right now, you can't see that. But it's been an amazing opportunity to work with you and to work with our team and to really put the muscle behind what we want to see in our community. And I'm just so grateful to be here and that we're so fancy that we have a podcast. And I hope people listen because there's going to be some amazing opportunities to get involved as well as like just learn more about the struggles and the way we can come together and help community members.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
Okay, so this is the United Way, Igniting Change United Way Unfiltered podcast. And thank you so much for joining us today. You can find us on Spotify and all the major listening platforms.
Wow.
Okay, I know, right? Did it sound official? It felt good.
So official. She did great.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Wendi, for joining us today. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
See you next time. Bye.